take that mentality. But a lot of us don't take that mentality. We take the mentality of, God, you let me down. I really loved this person. I really wanted this to work. I really wanted my children to, not come from a broken home, not have, divorced parents. I really wanted, you to heal this marriage, you to, restore this marriage. I really wanted these things, but you let me down. And so when you take that kind of mentality, it brings in a spirit of rejection, a spirit of bitterness, a spirit of anger, a spirit of just, faithlessness. And it's the main reason why so many people end up being stuck, and they don't go and receive freedom through divorce. And that's what this channel is about. That's what the school is about. That's what, everything is about, is freedom through divorce. We don't want divorce to be the end. We want it to be just a footnote. You know what I mean? We don't want it to be the be all end all. We want it to be a part of the beautifully woven purpose that God has for us, where he's able to use, even what the enemy had for us that he meant for bad, for good. And so, this is not God letting you down. This is God saying, I can't let you settle. And so I want to encourage you to give God the opportunity to show you what his purpose is for you before you reject it. Before you say, I don't want that, I want my marriage back. Before you say, God, I don't even know what it is you have for me, but I don't want that. I want what I want. I want this in this moment. I want this marriage to work. I want restoration in my marriage. I want my spouse back. I want this. I want that. Give him the opportunity to show you what he has for you before you reject it, before you say you don't want it. Because I promise you, it doesn't matter how much you want what you want right now. It's not worth sacrificing what he has for you. He loves you so much, and his plan and purpose for you are not just for him, they're for you. And it's just not worth sacrificing what he has for you. I know it is extremely difficult when you're going through it. It is so difficult. It's so hard. It's so painful. But I am so glad that God did not let me settle. I'm so glad that he loved me enough to say, you know what, I'm going to have to burn your ship. I did a video on that. I don't know if I posted it to YouTube. It's posted on my website. But I'll see if I can link it, if I can find it. But I did a video about that, because there's a song for King and Country, and it's called Burn the Ships. And, that's, there's a message behind that, and you guys can go look it up. But basically it's just where, there was, basically like some explorers that were trying to explore an area, but when they got there, they were so comfortable on the ship they didn't want to get off the ship, and so the captain literally burnt the ship so that they wouldn't have a choice but to go do what they were called to do. And so that's what God does for us. Sometimes he loves us and he burns our ships, because he's like, there's no way you're going to experience what I have for you unless I do this. You're not gonna voluntarily walk away from your plan to pursue mine. And as a Christian, we literally have given him the authority and the permission to do that. He already has the authority, whether we want to give it to him or not. But because he's such a gentleman, he's not going to do anything that we haven't given him permission to do, because he's not like that. But as a Christian, when you say, I want you to come in my heart, I want you to be Lord of my life, that means he calls the shots. He runs the show. And we got to let him do that. If you don't want to let him do that, then, why are you a Christian? Why are you following him if you don't want him to lead? So that's just one of the things he wanted me to get out today, is just that it's not that he is not answering your prayers. It's not that he doesn't love you. It's not that he doesn't hear you. And it's not that he's going to leave you in this desolate place. He's not. He's just burning your ship so that he can get you to where you need to be. And I promise you, what he has for you is better than what you have for yourself. I promise you. So I want to encourage you to let him show you his plan and purpose for you. The enemy is really good at making us feel like if we don't get this thing that we want right here and right now, our life is over. And that is just so not the case. You know, what the enemy means for bad, God always has a plan to turn around for good. And so I encourage you to take your concerns to God. There's nothing that he can't handle. You know, if you are concerned and you are hurting and you are, you know, feeling like, you know, I just don't know what you're doing right now, God, take that to him and let him deal with that. But don't let the enemy turn you into being bitter, and don't let him turn you into not having faith in the one that created you and loves you and sent his son to die for you, because that's just not his plan, and that's just not in your best interest. So, you know, he wants you to know that you're his bride, and he's tired of his bride settling, because we're in a time right now. We're in a prophetic season right now where, and I gave, you know, that prophetic word, you know, over the last few videos, and I encourage you, if you haven't seen that you watch that. But God is in a season right now where he has seen his bride settling in the area of marriage, and that's why the divorce rate is so high, and he's getting ready to turn that around. But in order for him to do that, it's like you have to, it's kind of like when Nehemiah was building the wall in scripture. The first thing he had to do was to get rid of the rubble. To, you know, they had the enemies had burned the city, and so there was rubble and there was just, you know, destruction everywhere, and so he had to get rid of all of that stuff before he could start building. And so that's what God has to do, is that if you're in an unauthorized marriage, he has to get rid of that first before he can start building the plan and purpose he has for you. And let me just say this, okay? When I say plan and purpose, a lot of times we think of it in terms of what God is asking us to do. You know, what business has he called us to run? You know, what ministry does he have us to be in, or things like that. But part of his plan and purpose for us is healing and deliverance. And so a lot of us are walking around hurting, and we've been hurting for a long time. And we have been dealing with pain and rejection and all kinds of stuff since childhood. And so one of the first things he does when he, as a part of getting rid of that rubble, is to begin to bring healing and deliverance to you so that you can be whole, so that you can actually enjoy life and love yourself and, you know, participate in the things of life without worrying about fear or anxiety or anger or bitterness or, you know, all of these, you know, issues that the world would just medicate, but that God can just heal once and for all. And so one of the things, you know, when he burns your ships, you know, part of the plan to rebuild is healing and restoration. And that's literally the first order of business. And so I would encourage you to be excited about that, to look towards the future instead of, you know, being depressed about the past, because God is still on the throne. He is still amazing and wonderful and worthy and righteous and holy and just, you know, Lord. And so he's not shocked or surprised or intimidated or, you know, any of those things about your situation. He loves you, and he has a plan to give you what he originally had for you, rather than sitting back watching you settle. And so let him bring you towards your true bridegroom. And sometimes that means stepping away from the false one. Hi, my name is Amanda Nicole, and I'm a Christian life coach and divorce survivor. I'm passionate about seeing Christian women discover and participate in their God-given destiny. Many of us have had our destiny derailed by an ungodly marriage, which has left us broken and hurting. We stay in verbally, physically, and emotionally abusive marriages for fear that God will be mad at us, or that we'll ruin our kids' lives if we get a divorce. Most times, these fears are based in unbiblical scare tactics. I'm dedicated to shedding light on these lies and helping you experience freedom through divorce. My online school explores the truth about marriage, divorce, and the Bible, and I offer one-on-one life coaching for those who are seeking godly counsel unique to their specific situation. To learn more, subscribe to my channel, enroll in my Authorized Divorce online course, and/or visit my website and book a 1-hour coaching session with me. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for your support. Please consider leaving a comment, sharing, and liking this video. Also, this channel content is made possible by generous subscriber donations. To donate, use the link in the description.